Good morning. So you may have heard the term maker, and I want to explore that a little more deeply and give you a tour of what makers are, who they are, and some of the tools that we're building to address their needs and make them make cooler stuff. So I'm Eric Wilhelm. I'm the Director of Communities for Autodesk Consumer Group, and I am the founder of Instructables.com. So I want to give you a quick tour and introduction to Instructables, which was acquired by Autodesk in August last year. And then I want to introduce some of the makers, some of the authors that we have on our site, and really tell you their story, and then tell you some of the tools that we're making for them. So Instructables is a project sharing website. We're the biggest project sharing website on the internet. We have 65,000 projects that have been authored by experts. And what we do is we give folks a step-by-step framework to share anything that they're passionate about. A recipe, a home repair project, an electronics project, and then we also give them a very engaged audience to share that stuff with. The way I think about it is when you build, bake, or create something, you want to put it on your coffee table so that people come into your home, they ask you about it. You can say, look at this part. This was the hardest part. This is why I'm really cool. This was hard. And eventually your friends and family get sick of hearing about this stuff and you need a wider audience. So we give folks that wider audience on Instructables. The types of projects are quite broad and we roughly categorize them. Food has recipes, living is crafting projects, stuff with kids. Outside is playing in the snow, camping. Play is little toy guns, Lego, building stuff, props. Technology is software, electronics, LEDs, microcontrollers, and then workshop is stuff you'd make in your garage or your workshop, table saw, woodworking projects, metalworking. So by the numbers, 65,000 projects authored by greater than 20,000 folks. There's 2 million registered users, people who are using the site, and in the trailing 31 days, we had more than 13 million unique visitors to our site. The site was started in 2005, and this is the growth over the past 3 years. This is a fun graph because you see those jumps. Those jumps happen at Halloween. Halloween is my favorite holiday because it is the last traditional holiday where DIY is best. You always want to have a home-built costume rather than a store-bought costume. And we see that in the numbers. So the business of Instructables is based on advertising and on subscriptions. We help brands reach our audience and tell their story and get their message across. And then we also have a subscription service. All the content on the site is freely available, but if you want to save a project as a PDF or print it out, we ask people to subscribe. The subscription is in the couple of dollars a month, and most people end up with a one-year subscription. So Instructables was a great business independently, and the question is why did Autodesk acquire us? So Instructables is now part of a growing ecosystem of consumer tools and consumer properties that reach in the tens of millions of people. And all of our tools and properties combined reach over 1 million people every day. And that continues to grow. So beyond being just the business and the numbers of Instructables, a big part of consumer products and tools is the community and the authenticity that one finds when they show up. So what we're doing within these consumer properties is we're using the knowledge we've learned at Instructables and some of the technology we've built to power community functions in all of these consumer tools. So that's the short version for why the acquisition went through. So now I want to introduce some of our makers. So 60 million folks or 1 million people every day. It's a big number, but those are made up by individuals, and each of those individuals has a story. And so I want to share with you just a couple of their stories, which I think will illustrate what it means to be a maker and what this trend actually has going for it. So first off, this is Giania. She's from Paraguay. She is a designer, and she shares tutorials on making clothing, repurposing stuff, and teaching people how to sew. She must have an infinite supply of oversized t-shirts because for a while she was doing all sorts of t-shirt stuff. Tinkerbell costume from a t-shirt, Betty Rubble costume from a t-shirt, how to turn a t-shirt into a sexy one-piece swimsuit, and turn a t-shirt into a top and skirt outfit. And she has hundreds of these. She's actually turned this into a little bit of a business. She now has a bunch of tutorials on this sewing and crafting and designing that is, she's formed into a business where she has advertising and sells some of her designs. And she uses Instructables to actually reach a wider audience. She probably didn't expect to be reaching a 13-year-old boy audience and teaching them to sew, but so it goes. This is Phil. Phil is more of the traditional DIYer. He's of the ilk of popular mechanics of old, popular science of old. He loves to help people sharpen their tools, understand why they need tools, fix their appliances. Phil also loves to go out and do target shooting and work with pistols. He has a gun collection, and he likes to tell people how to take these apart and clean them and deal with them properly and safely. Phil also is a Lutheran pastor, and he has Instructables and tutorials on how to select the Bible and making marriage last. So, Phil's a really interesting individual. He's actually one of our most prolific authors, having published over 200 Instructables on cleaning your guns, making your marriage last. We run a lot of contests on Instructables to help encourage folks to post, give them a deadline, give them a prize, get them kind of over that hump. Phil actually never enters any of the contests. He's just the type of personality that feels as though he's got something to share and he just has to go out and do it. Every time he repairs something or tells someone how to deal with something in their life, he really wants to share that, and that is his motivation. He's not motivated by our contest. He's never entered one of our contests, but he has the greatest number of Instructables, so he really, really wants to share what he knows. This is Rachel. Rachel is the mother of 3, and 2 of her children actually have special needs. She's got one with a congenital heart defect and another with a severe case of autism. And so Rachel posts and submits Instructables to say to the world, hey, I'm still here. I'm still spontaneous. I'm still creative. I can still do these things. Even though I'm running on no sleep and I have kids that require a lot out of me, I'm still an individual, and I still want to be known as an individual, not just a robot mom. I actually do some cool stuff. And so she shares stuff she does with her kids and tips and tricks that she uses to meet their needs, but she also has recipes and some stuff that she builds with them. So it's really important for her to have that engaged audience, someone to say, hey, I'm still an individual too, because she doesn't get to, with those little kids, she has trouble getting out and socializing, but she still does these projects. This is Jerome. Jerome's actually one of our #1 contest winners. He's won a bunch of our contests, and he is a former bike designer and now professional jeweler. He likes to combine the model making, kind of craftsman making props and movie stuff with a little bit of animatronics and electronics. So he's got projects on making props for movies, and one of his most popular projects is a Star Wars helmet, which is, again, one of our biggest projects for Halloween. And then he has a Stargate helmet, and this is actually fully articulated. The head moves around, there's LEDs in the eyes, they turn on, the wings open and close. And so this is his model making, kind of that nice craftsmanship combined with a microcontroller. So this is Brent. Brent shares jewelry projects. He primarily works in brass. He makes a lot of pendants and rings, and really tells people the whole process that goes into that. And he's actually opened a shop recently. So he saw enough success of people asking, hey, can you make this for me? How do I do this? On his projects on Instructables, that he thought he could open up a little shop. So he told me he thought if he could get 3 orders a month that he could support, the hosting fees. And he's got an order of magnitude more orders than that. So he tells the story on Instructables, And then people come in and see the craftsmanship that goes into one of these pieces, and they get the story as well. And they then see, okay, I understand how this is made. I really understand what's going on, and I'd really like to have you make it because I don't think I can do that. So he makes a whole bunch of cufflinks. He's made actually Instructables robot cufflinks that he's sent to us, which are fantastic. And he's also been exploring using bullet shells as pieces for pens and for jewelry. And you might wonder where he gets all these bullet shells. So Brent's day job actually is he's a police officer in Las Vegas, and what he does is after dealing with the absolute crazies of the world, all night in Las Vegas, he then goes home and he spends a couple of hours on Instructables decompressing. And he told me, I love coming home and hanging out on Instructables because it lets me feel good about the world. It lets me, it reminds me that there's still awesome people out there. And on the site, he gets just constructive feedback and people asking how he did something, and he can help them out, and he doesn't have to worry about being a police officer. And then conversely, his policeman buddies aren't really interested in his jewelry. So he's living this dual life, enabled by Instructables, where his day job, he's able to be a cop, and he has to deal with all the kind of jokes, in a social setting of, oh, don't say anything to Brent, he's a cop. On Instructables, he's just Mr. Belang, his username. He makes jewelry. People come to him with questions about how to polish their brass, how to get the little oxide patches off their brass. And so he loves being able to interact with folks in that way and not be a policeman. So the trends that I see, making isn't new. People have been making for a long time. And they have a really strong desire to connect and to share. So what is new is they're being given really powerful tools to connect and share. And so they benefit a lot from these tools. So that's really what we're trying to do with the consumer tools that we're building. So to conclude, I want to tell you a little bit about 123D. We updated a bunch of our 123D tools, including Catch, which you just heard about. And we have a series of connected workflows where you can take 3D models in, you can edit them, and then you can make them. So to tell the final story, I invite authors from Instructables to come be an artist in residence at Instructables. I just say, hey, show up for a month, use our tools, do whatever you want, and we've got the world's best tools, we've got a cool environment. Come hang out and just do fun stuff. So one of my artists in residence named Oliver decided, hey, wouldn't it be fun to make a 12-foot tall Trojan horse? So he modeled the thing up in CAD and then went ahead and actually built it out of cardboard. So the inspiration for this was we were invited to the Autodesk Christmas party, and I thought it would kind of be fun to do a literal taking over of the company, because you always hear about acquired companies come in to kind of spread their coolness and teach people how to be a startup and be nimble. So I think I thought we would take that literal and make a Trojan horse and then wheel it down Market Street and bring it in here, which is what's going on here. So they're building it up, and this is actually using 123D Make. So we made the model, then used the software from 123D to make all those panels in cardboard, get all the assembly instructions, and then put it together. So I'll let this run for another 20 seconds. I realize that I'm standing between you and lunch, but it's not every day that you get to see a 12-foot tall Trojan horse being assembled. And this is over the course of a couple of days that this goes together. So there we go. Yeah. So thank you very much.